heels of the Australian press launch of the 2024 Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro, Clubby and I get our hands on two bikes to test. Rest assured, we're not going to ride like Australian off-road champion and Dakar racer Ben Grabham. We've settled on a 1,300 kilometre adventure route from Melbourne to Sydney through the Victorian high country and hinterland. The ride covered a wide range of dirt surfaces and conditions, as well as blacktop and a little freeway. A typical Australian adventure tour. A couple of years back we tested the Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro, and since that time the mid-sized adventure market has been flooded with upgraded and new models that make it challenging to work out what is the best mid-sized bike for you. For 2024, Triumph have come out swinging with a substantially upgraded model. Key highlights include a more powerful engine, better suspension, a suite of useful accessories that come standard with the bike, and then there's the price. $25,990 right away in Australia. With significant changes to the bike, I felt it was worthy of a new review, and I reached out to Triumph Australia to get two loan bikes for a decent warts and all test that would be strongly dirt oriented. In terms of disclosure, the bikes are provided on loan, no money changed hands for this review, and Triumph Australia had no input into the production of this video.
Well, first 10 metres on a Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro, and the front brake is the thing that attracts me. I reckon it's a half a finger job. Oh, quick shifter works right from the lowest gears through, like I just did that, man. There you go. Well, we've fought through the metropolitan traffic and all that stuff, and just starting to see the mountains now, and I'm happy about that. Adjustable screen's good. I've got it in the higher setting at the moment, and as always with Triumphs, they seem to nail screens. It's got a couple of winglets there, and it's got a kind of a little air opening there on the main shield, and yeah, they just nailed it. It just works. If you look, I can just put it up, put it down, works perfectly. Probably had a wide range of food groups, pie, sausage roll, so he's got every base covered. Beautiful country. We're into it now. You got to get your head around a triple, and yeah, the way they deliver power is unique, and on this 900, this is a classic example. So before we start diving into features, let's just ride the bike and get a feel how it is. Three things become apparent really quickly for me. That beautiful engine with this really solid mid-range, and doesn't it come on at about 4.9, goodness me. The next thing is the tracking of the bike. You can feel that road heritage. It's just in this bike's DNA. And the final point is the brakes. Oh, will I use my pinky? Because I can stop this bike on a dime with my pinky. That's how powerful the brakes are. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to hold it in fourth and go right down. 47, 40, and out we come. So I was pulling then from 2.7. Whoa! Yeah, she goes. Oh yeah.
As soon as I hit the dirt, the engine's power delivery immediately grabs my attention, perfectly attuned to the gravel terrain. Braking traction and executing power slides feels like second nature, and thanks to the broad rev range, the rider has total control with minimal effort and minimal concentration. The engine instills confidence in off-road situations. Whether you prefer a leisurely pace or crave some serious speed, the abundance of power is readily available, waiting to be unleashed.
Yeah, the rear brake you can adjust for standing or sitting. Liking the quick shifter. So I reckon we'll lift up that back brake. Yeah. That's better. It's up higher. Hey. So I can't switch. No, it doesn't allow me. Once I'm in Off-Road Pro, I'm in Off-Road Pro, and to get back onto the street, I'm going to have to stop, I think, and then road, tick. Yep. So, you know, a number of the bikes have that change on the fly. Triumph don't, and they say it's for safety reasons.
My initial impressions of the bike are overwhelmingly positive, and it's already garnered praise for its outstanding engine performance, excellent brakes and impeccable finish. However, a notable drawback is the inability to switch from Off-Road Pro to road mode on the fly, which is pretty important in Australian riding conditions, where the terrain often transitions between dirt and asphalt. The capability to change modes without stopping is a feature I'd like to see on this bike. The alternative of keeping it in Off-Road Pro on the road means sacrificing the safety features offered by the road mode, especially lean-sensitive traction control and ABS.
We've had a huge ride, Dave.
We have.
I know you loved the first generation Tiger 900 Rally Pro.
Yeah.
What are your first impressions about this bike?
Well, Triumph have come out swinging. They've lifted their game again, and this is a really competitive bike in a very competitive market. 25,990, absolutely jam-packed with accessories, but not only that, there's a lot of improvements. 15% increase in power, and believe me, that's there. It's got better suspension and it's got improved ABS. But the traction control, I think, and I stand to be corrected, but it feels very much similar to the old one.
It's been like a ride of two halves for me. I rode the national press launch last week on this bike with Cameron Donald, hero, TT racer, all round awesome dude. Led us on all these technical fire trails and tracks down closer to Melbourne, real high country riding, second and third gear. Loved the suspension. Lots of initial compliance, didn't beat me up on those slower speed trails. Once we've got out here on our ride, touring conditions, higher speed, open gravel roads filled with potholes and square edges at higher speed. And okay, I'm going to be honest and say I've battled a bit with particularly the front suspension in those conditions. Getting the preload setting, a compression and rebound setting, you've got all that adjustment, but still not the compliance I want on those bigger, faster, sharper hits, mate. and I'm thinking that comes back to a spring rate issue. For me, my weight of 100 kilos and my luggage load that we've had strapped on the back as well, probably another 10 to 15 kilos there as well. You know, that's the only little chink in the armour of this bike for me. If I was an owner, I think I would give attention to the spring rates for that kind of riding.
Clubby and I requested Triumph Australia to set the suspension to off-road settings, and in the lower speed stuff I felt the Showa suspension was outstanding.
Front is fully adjustable, rear doesn't have compression damping. Compression and rebound seem pretty good at this stage for the bigger hits, but on the trail feel sort of stuff, that first 3 centimetres of the stroke feels a little bit harsh. It's okay, but it's noticeably different to some of the other bikes I've ridden lately. This road has a few surprises on it. It's got some kind of hidden potholes that catch you out and occasional washouts that are quite sharp edge. Yeah, I just bottomed the rear suspension quite hard. It fell right through the stroke with a big thud. Yeah, it's the only one that's done it on, but I'm thinking of upping the preload when I can. I think it's about mid. I think I've got, 20 more clicks I can add to the preload.
Clubby and I both found the trail feel a bit harsh, but the Showa suspension responds well to clicker adjustments. I have a hunch that softening the compression and rebound a few clicks on the forks could enhance the bike's trail feel for the less demanding adventure touring. Despite having a screwdriver on hand to make these adjustments, I ultimately decided to leave them untouched, signalling my satisfaction with the overall suspension performance for adventure touring. The suspension on this bike is definitely a step up from earlier models. However, in a highly competitive field, a couple of other brands managed to just outperform this one and snatch the crown in terms of suspension performance, though it's a close call. Time to look at ride modes, traction control and ABS from a dirt perspective. The language and actions required by the rider to get the best out of this bike are pretty simple. The mode switch, this is the way you change the different rider mode settings. You can just flick through that, and this is the button. This is just a toggle that allows you to go deeper into the settings and find what you want, and then you just confirm what you want with the tick, which is just squashing it in. While we're there, the cruise control on this bike is great. To set it, 2 clicks and then it's on. Rain, road, sport, off-road, not recommended for experienced riders, I don't think. Off-road pro is the place to be. And at the moment I've got ABS off, the map is off-road and traction control is off. Sometimes I had ABS off-road. So let's go to Off-Road Pro. You're in Off-Road Pro. Now you go across and you've got the different settings here. So this is Journey, Riding Aids. So I go into Riding Aids. I press that, and so I'm in Off-Road Pro at the moment, and now I've got an opportunity of changing the ABS. See, the ABS is seated there, so I can go down and select Off-Road ABS, which was a good setting. But I could also go across to the map. I was happy with the off-road map, and I was happy with having traction control off. So they are now permanently set. So if I turn the bike off, it doesn't matter. It'll come back to the settings that I've put in there for Off-Road Pro.
I'm going to try just plain off-road mode this time. So let's go across. Sport, off-road. Alright, select. So, got a bit of ABS. Now let's give it a bit on this corner. Yeah.
The traction control in the off-road mode is not subtle, but shuts down power to limit traction in a very noticeable manner. It's certainly not seamless nor as sophisticated as what you'd find on the top of the range mid-size twins. That said, I can see it being useful for those unfamiliar with riding in the dirt and gravel. If you use this mode at a slow and steady pace, it probably could save you bacon. The off-road ABS in this setup is excellent for bringing the bike to a stop.
Ooh, gee. So I've got ABS off-road on, so that's different to no ABS at all. So if you grab a fistful of front brake on this setting, it also applies the rear brake for maximum braking demand. So if you're really going to just grab a handful of front brake, you're also on this setting going to get some back brake as well to balance the bike up. It's quite a good setting. I just found that out then, came into that corner just a little bit faster than I wanted to, and yeah, just settled the bike really quickly.
We've mentioned multiple times those massive big front brakes,
Brilliant.
but the ABS system's impressive as well, Dave.
Yeah, it's definitely been improved. Congratulations, Triumph, it's a step up. The off-road ABS, honestly, we have taken that to its extreme yesterday with about, 3 million corners, in the slipperiest conditions you could find. And we did reach the point where it actually wasn't as good as just turning off ABS. But you know what? I didn't turn it off, because in the overwhelming majority of cases, the ABS off-road was good for me and allowed me to ride consistently, particularly at the end of the day. We did a 12-hour day and we're getting tired, and the ABS off-road looked after me. But it does have limitations, particularly if you're in deep gravel like this on a off-camber corner. It just didn't work for me, and I had a couple of heart starters there.
Off-road Pro at slow speeds is my happy place. Unbridled gobfuls of earth-moving grunt. That's the only way to describe it. It's the combination of the three settings I've chosen that enhance the experience of adventure touring for me. It's a very personal thing. Engine map set to off-road, which noticeably boosts power and performance through the lower and mid-rev range. The delivery of power is so flexible, it caters for sitting back and chilling or hooking into it. With this engine, having your back, traction control off is essential for me. With the twist of that throttle, I know I have the power on tap and can effectively use it to steer the bike with the rear wheel. The ABS off-road selection is a surprise for me. It just does a great job.
3 long days in the saddle, Dave. Talk about touring comfort with this bike.
Seated position on this bike is fantastic. I can sit on this bike all day. Unfortunately for me, and this is just rider preference more than anything, I just felt a little bit cramped standing, and I would need 3 centimetre bar rises. The other thing is, when you spend all this money putting all these accessories on it, just another 15 millimetres wide foot pegs would have done me proud. I mean, for the first 3 hours, yeah, it's great, but we were in the saddle like 12 hours last night, yesterday, and you know, in the soles start getting sore just because you've got so much weight. And so many other competitors do that better. They have wider foot pegs. Great features for touring I love is this screen, bang, bang. You just got to watch it. You can't move that up and down highway speeds, obviously, because there's too much air pressure on it. But that's beautiful. That's a great thing.
And there's been one thing I haven't missed at all on this ride. No fuel anxiety. That's the best. And I mean, we were fair off the grid yesterday, especially middle of nowhere stuff. But yeah, 20 litre tank, and we've averaged, as I say, 20 kilometres per litre. As you say,
5 litres per 100 kilometres.
5 into 100 is 20 times 20, 400 kilometre to dry range.
Yeah.
And the fuel warning light came on for me, high 200s, And it's still indicating, but that we've got 6 to 8 litres remaining, another 100k still to go. So fabulous fuel range, and for a big high performance multi-cylinder bike, 20 kilometres a litre, that's fabulous fuel economy. Favourite features of this bike?
3 favourite features. I'm going to do a little bit odd. Airbox. Look where the airbox is. And it's accessible. You don't have to take a freaking tank off to get to it. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Someone is listening. But you can't go past the front brake. The front brake is amazing. I've been on it all the time with just one finger. Incredibly powerful, but subtle and progressive. And the engine, nothing beats a triple. The lushness of that engine, it comes on from about 4.8 to around 6.2, and I just stay in that happy zone. And you know, you can power slide if you want, if you get into it quickly, or you can just slowly get into it. It can pull 2 gears above what a normal bike can, and it's comfortable. Just go and it's away. So long live the Triple Triumph. You've done well, good and bad.
Best part about this bike is the motor and its dual personality. Like I said, low rev performance and high rev performance. Brakes are just brilliant. Even I've been riding a lot with ABS off, and I've still got unreal modulation on that, particularly that front brake stop. It's straight off a superbike, that whole setup it's got. And even then in the off-road setting ABS, it actually has surprised me how well it's worked most of the time, until you get those downhill into corner corrugations where, mate, it's just such a big ask to get an ABS system to fully control the bike in that situation.
Blokes are funny things, you know, like mechanical noises kind of interfere with our actual riding pleasure. And when you're in the rough stuff and you hear this, it kind of puts you off. It's great to have the centre stand, and I don't know what the solution is. Maybe if I had this bike, I'd just get a rubber tube and just hold it up here. You don't need the centre stand very often, but that noise was driving me mad. Competition, where's this bike sit?
Man, there is so much competition for this bike, isn't there? Rattle them all off now. You know, you've got your Norden 901, Standard and Expedition, KTM 890 Adventure R and Standard, Ducati, Desert X slips in there as well. New BMW is coming, and
World Raid.
Well, World Raid is there, similar price point to this bike, but the motor performance you get with this bike, it's another league. You know, like the World Raid's 70 horsepower, this thing's 106 horsepower. You know, like, yeah, you know, World Raid will be on people's radar, but I kind of don't put it as a direct competitor on the matter of engine performance.
Yeah, I'm in a slight disagreement with you. I think people, because of the price range of $25,990, I don't necessarily think people look at capacity of bikes. I think this is a competitor to the World Raid. I think the takeaway for me is you can just grab this bike, you can do a 4-day adventure like we have. It's been cracking fun, and this bike just does that straight off the showroom floor. A couple of the other bikes, maybe not.
Like, you know, we've been joking about take 30 seconds, clubby, and list everything that you get included on this bike. I won't do it. I'm not even going to try, mate. Everything is included in that price of what, $25,990 on this Tiger. Like, if you're in the market, guys, apple to apples comparison compared to other bikes of the same category, mate, this bike's got everything. Everything is there as standard equipment, mate. It's so impressive, the spec sheet that the Rally Pro has.
Well, that's a wrap for our deep look at the Rally Pro through the eyes of 2 dirt-oriented adventurers. The mid-size market has just become a little more interesting with this very competitive offering from Triumph. Now, we can't leave without listing some of the standard features of this bike, arguably one of the most standard accessorised bikes in its class.
The thing, like I say, it is just fully loaded, this bike.
Yeah.
If we get wet and cold tomorrow up the high country, I'm turning the standard heated grips on. I'm turning the standard heated seat on. I'm tucking behind the hand adjustable screen. Mate, like, everything is there, mate. There's link braking, there's backlit switchgear, There's rear warning light technology
It goes
in the
flashy, doesn't it?
Yeah, the indicators come on like a flash
So you
when you
slam on the
really
brakes
hard
and
brake.
these go boom, 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 boom,
Yep,
boom. Yeah.
correct, mate. Correct. Big off-road pegs on it, mate.
Yeah.
The crash bar's down low is standard. The alloy bash plate is standard. The 7-inch TFT screen is standard. The 6 ride modes are standard.
6, do that
The
again.
switchable ABS and traction control is standard. Rubber damped handlebars are standard. Oh man, I'm having a history. Little driving lights, spotties are standard. Everything, mate. Adjustable seat height is standard.
Yeah.
Centre stand is standard.
You're kidding me.
I don't know what I'm going to farkle it if I was a punter. I don't know
think
what
you
my
would.
first bolt on would be. Maybe some high crash bars, because I'm likely to bin it on the mountains down here. Just a little more protection.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing I can think of. Oh, and rubber up, mate. These ones are fitted with Karoo 4s.
Yeah.
The standard fitment is a little bit more 50-50
Yeah,
road
yeah.
tyre is standard. So we've got a bit more knob, bit more bite for the dirt.
Yeah.
Mate, I enjoyed it last week. And my prediction is, Dave, you'll be frothing
Yeah.
by the time we hit the dirt in a couple of hours.
Well, 3 years ago when we rode, I was very impressed with the power sliding mid-range. That
Right,
was
well,
amazing.
you've only got more of that, mate.
Yeah.
It's another 10, 13%,
15%, I think.
15% more power,
Wow.
and it's right where you just said, 4,500 revs,
Yeah.
it just starts going and going crazy, mate.
All
the big
right, well,
triple.
let's get going. I'm sick of the talk.
Yeah, I know,
about
I've
it.
sold you,
Let's-
I've sold you.
sold me,
It's
you
enough
sold me.
talking, enough gibbering. I think, yeah, let's get
All
going,
right, let's
mate.
get going.